on in. Don't be shy. Hi. I'm Queen Romana. How are you? Thank you. You guys look so nice. I look so, casual. Have a seat, please. Come on. Hi. How are you?
So thankful to want to meet you.
God bless.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you.
You. Hello.
Finally.
Finally, eh? Finally. Exactly. You're like,
Love you.
oh man.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, you guys. Have a seat here. Don't be shy. This is welcome to my humble abode. This is where we eat. We do our work. We have a chat here, casually, sometimes not so casually. So, anyways, just kidding. Were you guys waiting for a long time here?
Yeah, we just got
Were you guys following my post?
Yes,
It's like,
yes.
okay, you are had like 30 seconds shower, you know. You had to go there, borrow their hotel room, and had to take a shower. Yes. So, welcome everyone. How come you're all by yourself here? I'll join her here over here. Come on, you guys.
I'm one of these people with the back to the corner all the time.
And I like the people in the back of the corner. They're usually the ones that listen and then ask lots of questions, take notes, you know. So yes. So how do you guys feel having your new queen?
Very excited.
Yes.
Great. Very happy.
Yes.
I remember being a child going to school and saying to a bunch of kids, and I wasn't very old, I might have been 9, I said, I don't know what's going on, but what we're doing here now is not what we're put on this earth for.
Right. Yes.
And I wasn't very old.
You know, our kids are a lot smarter than the adults. I
Yes.
can tell you that much.
Yep.
Yes, and they have their hearts and
Yep.
connected and aligned. So, and they're the ones that tell the truth before the adults do.
Yes.
They have no filter. So, I always say, if you want the truth, go to the children.
Yes, definitely.
So,
Yep.
so do you guys have any questions that you have that hasn't been asked by
The peop-
other I ams of the people?
I don't know if you were asked this one,
Hmm.
but the people who got laid off for not taking the poison toxin, are they going to get recalled to work?
They will, and I
So-
also did a royal decree yesterday
Mhm.
giving the people that have been laid off and unemployed, was it 50? Yes, that was 50 billion until July, is that
Mhm.
right? July 2022. And also, not only that, I also issued another royal decree to help the weedy people with their housing and food expenses. And yes, we're forcing these guys to compensate
Yeah.
everyone who has been laid off because of their tyranny and bullying. There's no basis to their tyranny. They're forcing people to take the jab. It's just, for them, it's financial gain. Many of you may have realized that Justin Trudeau is part of or was part of the technology, yes, the jab technology with all the pharmaceutical companies, and even UBC was involved, and other Canadian companies too, I believe, research companies. So we, as I've mentioned before, we have everything, and we know everything that they thought they could hide. So, and
I'm watching the gang show. I don't normally watch the news, but it's a bit of a, like you said, a gang show.
it is, yes.
You had Andrew Fury on the news one day, and it's just the funny part about the way he said it. He said, he was talking about the vaccine stuff. Now suddenly he said, I never said the vaccine passport was going to be here forever, but the way he said it, and I'm just going like, oh, I know some people aren't going to freak out now because the provincial government, 2 days later, the employees that are all vaccinated must have freaked out because
Of
basically you're vaccinated for nothing.
Exactly, yes.
And
They have
2
been.
days later, they sent an email to all the employees with provincial government telling them that they were still, even though if they dropped it, that for the employees, they were going to keep it in place.
See, the one thing is, these are corporations, right? They're not government employees. So this is what should I say? This is really the one thing that people who have taken the jab will not have any recourse other than for their queen now to force these private companies to compensate the people that have been jabbed, because they are private corporations, right? So we're gonna have to deal with millions of different corporations that have employed all of these peoples, because federal governments, they're a corporation, right? So, and that is why I'm traveling across the country gently, letting everyone know that yes, you have a new queen, and yes, all of that have been removed, but just that realization, people, if I were to use force and say, I am the queen, I'm going to bring the military, we will have civil war, because all of a sudden people will realize they have been jabbed for nothing and they have been lied to. So imagine that reaction if I were to, go and immediately enforce my reign as the queen. So this is what people, I think are not yet realizing, that I am having to balance the psychological, emotional, and even physical reaction by the people when they find out that they've been duped into jabbing themselves, and literally even their children, especially the children. So imagine that. And then, right, that's why when I declared martial law on February 5th, I said, unless there is civil unrest, you will not see boots on the ground because of it. So, but just so you know, the heavy lifting as far as removing the Chinese military from Canada is finished. That was done before even the pandemic was happening or has started. So I've been working in the background for decades, since I was this tiny, but at the same time I had to live a double life to ensure safety, my family and myself especially. And that's why I make a joke of some people saying, oh, she lived in a basement, or she lives in a basement somewhere in Victoria, and I'm like, yeah, in the attic too, and in the middle of the house and wherever else. At one time I was homeless, so I know what it feels like to be homeless. I don't think there is, other than the unlawful industries, prostitution, drugs, and what have you. I think I've entered all kinds of industries and work in all kinds of industries, even construction, cleaning. While when I got back to my home at night, I had to work with the military, and before going to work, doing that 9 to 5 or 8 to 7, depending on my shift at work. So having to do that. And some people said, well, in Ottawa there was a police officer. We were passing by and he said, oh, that's our new queen and she's a psycho. Well, guess what? If being a queen and liberating Canada from communist military means being a psycho, because it takes one to do that, then so I'll be very happy to wear that badge of being a psycho. If it means liberating my people and my country.
That's right.
So
you're dealing with a bunch of psychos.
yes, exactly. And then there was another guy that came up. I don't know if you guys saw that video when he said to me, well, you look like a crackpot.
Yes.
Crackhead.
Right? Crackpot.
Someone snorting crack, in other words.
Exactly.
Anyways.
So I said, well, whatever you think of me is none of my business. Enjoy your freedom. I've already done what I was expected to, or what is expected of a queen for, to do for her people, and that's liberating her people. So I said, enjoy your freedom. And I just walked away. And I'm not here to sell anything. I've already done my work. So, and as Yoda says, be very afraid. So, but one thing, as far as when people try to bully you guys, is just remind yourselves that your queen, Romana, is backed up by the U.S. Armed Forces and Allied Forces. And perhaps some of you may have noticed that I seem to have control of what's happening in Europe and the rest of the world.
Yes.
And I'm traveling to the United States. This is the first time that the Queen of Canada is traveling to all 50 states and all their territories.
It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
So
Do you-
that's
Do any of you have last questions?
I have one. I don't know if you've dwelt on this one, but when you say the end is not for everyone, what happens to the other ones, I guess?
the other ones, it means some people who had say, specific role in liberating not just Canada but the world, have failed in their duties, so they ended up being traitors to their own people. Also, some have left their military behind in certain countries, and so by military rule, you don't leave anyone behind, especially if your people are liberating another country. So those individuals have ended up being tried under war crimes because of it. So that's one. And also in terms of the other aspect of it, as far as the public, not everyone will be happy to find out that they've been lied to all these years. So we will have some people who may take their lives because they can't handle that. And some people may become violent as a reaction to that sudden shock, right? So that's why I try to use very gentle force, balancing. And some people, of course, with the jabs, will have passed away because their immune system has been compromised.
Yeah. They've been told that if you're autoimmune compromised that you should get the jab. That's
Yes.
what's going on here.
But it's the jab that's compromising their immune system.
Definitely. We did not take it. We would not
Oh,
take
no.
it. Me and my husband, if we had to walk away from our jobs,
Oh, yeah.
we were not taking
Exactly.
no vaccines.
Yes.
Yeah, well, first I went and got a medical mask exemption. Well, then I was basically put through hell for 2 years until I was forced to walk between the manager and staff. It's crazy what I had to put up with more.
Definitely.
The thoughts of going back into that toxic environment, I'm going, oh God. Lord help me save me.
And you were safe. So
Yeah.
yes, it's but as I said, just remember that the heavy lifting has been done for the we the people. And when I burnt the flag, their corporation flag in Ottawa, and I keep mentioning this to get the message across, that it wasn't to disrespect the we the people or our military and veterans, but it was to symbolize the ending of the tyranny of the corporation that has been masquerading as the we the people's government.
I gotta take my coat off. I'm gonna have a flash.
In all aspects, they were invaders, and that's what they've done since 1867, or even prior to that. That's what they've done to Canada, was invaded it and ruled it unlawfully. So
I think about all the people that went missing
yes,
down in the towns. Will they ever be able to be brought back to their families?
some of the people that went missing were actually given to some of the dark energies, so they were consumed by some of the dark energies, so they won't return there. Yes, there were food supplies for the dark energies, and that's how the deep state operatives maintained their control, was to exchange humans, especially children, with the dark energies, and in exchange they were given specific technologies to keep dumbing down the weedy people. So there's a lot more happening behind the scenes than people realize, and especially from the military's perspective. Yes, the same thing. What's happening with Ukraine is that the mainstream media keeps on saying that there's war, and I said no, we are removing the deep state government of Ukraine, and that the special forces of Russia was sent in there with the blessings and cooperation of the NATO alliance, which is a new alliance, not the old NATO that went in and bombed everybody and took their resources, but it's the new NATO alliance. And also I asked the United States military to back off. So NATO alliance are backed all the way to Poland and Hungary and Romania, and then the US Armed Forces, I said back off, let the cleaning of Ukraine be done by the Russian special forces, because they know the area. It's actually like going to their families and liberating them, because they used to be part of Russia before Gorbachev was removed. USSR, remember, if you guys are old enough and studied history. Yes.
Yeah, I see an aerial photo of the Ukraine, and it was like every other backyard had a Nazi flag flying.
And actually the people that are the military of Ukraine, the deep state military, is the one bombing their people and blaming it on Russia. Whereas Russia is targeting only specific infrastructure to disable and remove the deep state government. But of course, like here before, the deep state government corporations didn't care about their people. They'll bomb everyone just to get whatever it is they need. They don't care about their people.
Like Bush
Never
did
have.
in the-
Exactly. And some of you guys watched the video I said when we were at Gander Airport, when they bombed their own people. They declared war during 9/11, when they bombed their own people. Well, took down the Twin Towers, right? And then they were blaming it on Saudi Arabia, and they produced fake passports blaming it on Saudi Arabia. And we know everything about it, and not a single Muslim was involved, and it was all inside job. So
We have another lady.
you remember
Lady.
the-
So would you just like anything signed
So
or
group
pictures?
group
or-
picture.